Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Skype to play Dungeons and Dragons and critically fumble a lot. Previously, the party left Belarus, and unfortunately leaving Clarity behind to effectively be their dedicated researcher while they go out and smite or be smoten by uh, whatever happens to come next. Currently, they are in the process of assembling the bits and pieces they need to bring to Jenna to make a dragon slaying weapon of some description. Hopefully, more than one, but they'll have to see. There's a whole bunch of things that they need to collect, and one of them is the most nasty, insidious poison they can find in order to accurately reflect the essence of green dragon. They heard tell of a two-headed snake which seems to make its home in desert wasteland kind of climes and old tombs and places like that. And there was mention of someone having found one of these two-headed snakes, known as the Amphisbaena, in basically tombs off the city of Al-Zorhai to the north of where they are. That would be a province run by Creabendis. Another dragon, they don't know what color, but one of the five claws of Bahamut anyway. She has established within the city a group of effectively mercenary hunters known as the Brass Arrows. They take bounties on particularly nasty creatures to clear them out of tombs so that dedicated students, lore keepers, bards, and other sorts of individuals can go and study things without getting eaten, poisoned, gelatinous cubed, or otherwise dead. And if they want to go into the tombs to find this Amphisbaena and maybe a gelatinous cube for living acid if they're lucky, they don't know, they have to apply to join the Brass Arrows. So, thankfully, owing to what turned out to be the daughter of the Golden Dale woodworker, seems that Golden Dale is a wonderful place for people with adventuresome backgrounds to go for retirement. They boarded an airship and are en route to Al-Zorhai. So you are currently on an airship. It's not a very big ship. I mean, the berths are basically, you know, you get rooms, but they're basically sort of closets with two hammocks, one above the other, hung in them because there's not, again, not a lot of space, and most of the space is cargo. There's obviously the top deck, but there's a lot of work going on up there, and the dirigible that your little ship thing is attached to is not very far off from the top deck. It's a small ship. It's been built for carrying capacity and speed for reasons. So yeah, you turned up after dinner and are currently exploring airship as the sun goes down. Remy is the only one of you that's ever been on an airship.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so basically you're looking down at like several hundred feet up
I'm like,
and rising.
They can
Remy
be looking
stays
down.
on
I'll
the
be in the exact center.
opposite side of the railing.
I'm like, okay. Well, heights weren't a thing before, but I think they might be getting to be one.
I don't think elves were meant to be this high without a tree under them.
So far up.
One
So
of one of one of
far
the,
up.
one of the deckhands.
When's the last time you saw a
What-
tree this tall?
One of the deckhands stomps on the wooden boards of the deck and goes, "Technically,
Mutilated.
Adapted.
for the greater good."
For the greater wood? Right, okay. Well, at least what we're standing on is
Thank
solid.
you for that one.
Anyway.
Yeah, deckhands are giving Darwin a look for that pun. And suddenly,
Anyway.
suddenly it probably occurs to him he probably doesn't want to piss off the people who could throw him over the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna just, yeah, okay. The Bard is gonna shut up.
This is
What
kind
is
of
the...
it's kind of neat for Froseth. He's never, in terms of the four elements, he's never been this far into air before.
Well,
Why does Hazel sound like a bird?
We haven't met a sky hag, have we?
You haven't met a sky what?
Sky hag. Birds.
Uh,
Sound like
Oh.
birds.
No.
Another
It'll be
deckhand
fine.
goes, "That would be harpies."
Right. You'll be fine.
Ah!
Look, if something happens, it's not like you can do anything about it. So just chill.
That's supposed to be comforting?
Why worry about something you can't do anything about?
I'm just still staring over the side, and it's that look of I'm seeing through space and time and or panic.
So Tuesday.
Yeah. Well. Tuesday dialed to 11 and then someone broke off the knob.
I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to try to pull Hazel away from the railing, and we'll continue down just
I am
to see what's around.
Gripping
really
that
not-
railing as hard as I physically can, so...
Do I need to roll a strength check to see if I can pry Hazel off the railing?
Yes.
You get advantage if I help.
Yeah, that's
Yes, see, there would in fact be advantage if you helped.
Apologies if you can hear Cat.
Technically, you have
12.
you have
Oh.
advantage because
Okay.
You gotta help.
I'll try it a second time as well. Same thing.
I contributed.
no, you didn't. You couldn't quite get around without worrying about looking over yourself, so you contributed nothing.
Thank you for the attempt.
That would be contested, so Hazel, athletics, I suppose.
Time to find out just how ridiculous this gets.
And whether or not we lose our cleric overboard.
She's
Damn
not moving. Knuckles are white and just and you keep trying to pry the fingers, but every time you get a finger off, another couple just hook back in.
Infinite. This is a pity went to market. This is a pity went. Whoop, damn it! Infinite pities. This is not working. Are you at least breathing, Hazel?
Hyperventilating.
Oh fuck.
That's both good and bad.
Make me a Constitution save, Hazel.
Nye, can you do anything to help here?
I
Hazel
could try to put her to
faints.
sleep.
Hazel faints.
Oh.
Because that's what
Catch.
happens when you, yeah. Thankfully, Darvin
Okay.
and Nye
that-
are there, so they grab her by each arm so she doesn't pitch forward.
Okay, well, never mind. That worked.
Problem solved.
Apparently.
That's what happens when you hyperventilate. Over-oxygenated. So it
Never
it's
see it.
it's only like 30 seconds or so that she's out. So by the time she comes back to, she's away from the rail.
Ah, but
Well, please,
Oh boy.
you're not. You're okay. Just stay on this side. You'll be fine.
too high.
Don't look down ever. Actually, I better not say that. Knowing this one, she really will never look down ever again.
One of the deckhands, who's a parrot, the deckhand who was talking to Nye, turns out this one's another half elf, which you can see as they get closer, because the shaggy sort of hair covers the ears most of the way. Uh, rolls his eyes and just walks up to Hazel and hands her a flask. Constitution save.
13.
It tastes like kerosene. And it feels like somebody poured kerosene down your throat and then struck a spark.
Yep. I could smell that from here.
And yeah,
what's
that's
happening to her hair?
that's chilled you out after the burninating, but that's probably a good 130 proof. That is.
I'm just holding it back out.
Thank you.
Anything to shut her up.
Yeah, and we live with this.
Offers the flask to Darwin.
I'm good. Thank you.
It goes back to what he's doing.
So let's just continue on. We'll find a spot to just be out of the way, because our rooms aren't really conducive to even that much, aside from sleeping, and I'm not sleepy yet. So, but yeah.
Basically, there's one sort of break room. There's not a lot of space for people on this ship. Basically, for the most part, you're there to work, but there's a spot where you can sit and grab a meal, which is good because you're going to be in the air for a while. There's a tiny little room that's ostensibly the privy. You probably don't want to know how it works. But
I bet there's a trapdoor in the floor. I just bet.
Let's not ask.
it's
that
a-
question.
I'm not examining this.
yeah, it's a Magitech airship. You'd think they might do a little better than that. If for no other reason, then that would be really unfortunate for people on various flight paths. But anyway,
Yeah, and below.
well, below various flight paths is what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there is a room. It seats 8 if they feel like being cozy. Froseth is going to have to keep his tail very much coiled up around him most of the time he's here. But you do have a place to sit down, and
not get in the way of anyone and not see over the side and
yeah,
et
there. I mean,
cetera.
there's little porthole windows, but you can't see down from them. You just see clouds. You can actually see the sunset from up in it, and seeing the clouds sort of turn various colors while you're actually in the middle of them is kind of pretty. You get occasional birds.
I am making note of, definitely making some serious note of the scenery. Imagery like this is going to be added to, my
At,
sensory repertoire for lyrical inspiration later.
yeah. At one point, this bright green bird sort of lands on the outside of the window. Looks in.
there's something on the wing.
I hate you.
Wait, we don't have wings. Never mind.
little green bird sort of examines you. Beak opens. You can't hear it because apparently the glass is really thick, but appears to be singing. Pecks at the window.
I'm gonna wave.
Yeah, pecks at the window a couple of times, flies away.
I've never seen one quite that vibrant.
Staring.
Hazel.
I'm occasionally going like this in front of
Hazel,
Hazel's
drunk
face.
and staring.
Just looking for some sort of, eyeball
Screen!
movement.
That was about the same color as her
It's
hair
gonna be a
bow,
long
actually.
flight.
Screen! And I'm over by the window.
Yeah, the bird
Okay.
has flown, but you actually see you see it sort of doing a circuit. Every so often it'll just flash past again. Fairly large
Pressed up
bird.
the window.
At least it keeps you quiet. She seems happy. We'll go with it. I'm good. Oh, yeah.
So, do you have anything to discuss while you're crammed in this little room with?
How the hell did
Basically,
what is
it's cabinets, and there's a very small, what you imagine is a stove, and one of those boxes like you have at Hearthhome, which something else Nye has never seen. It's just a little box with little etched runes in them. And if you turn on Eldritch Sight, because I'm not going to assume you have that on all the time, my dude, because that's just too much. If you decide to look at it because it's got runes, then yeah, it's actually magical. If you open it, there is food inside, and it's kind of cold. But yeah, this is apparently their galley. The half-elf sort of pokes his head in. Help yourself to the food. This is mostly sort of snacks. I don't know if you know how to operate one of those. Hazel does. It's not dissimilar to the Hearthhome stove.
Still glued to the window.
Thank you. Hazel. Food.
Well, you guys didn't have dinner that long ago. He's just sort of walking you through. It's just, anything perishable, meat, fruit and veg, whatever is in that little box down there. Don't know if you've ever seen one of them.
Oh, wow.
have-
Hazel turned away from the window.
I have seen.
Good. Okay, so you know how things
Okay.
work. You won't let them get themselves icicled. Good. Good to know.
Icicle.
What? Oh!
It happens sometimes if people don't know what they're doing and they poke the wrong thing. The ice magic in the what's it freezes them solid.
I have moved over to the stove and am now looking it over.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the
right.
one at Hearthhome.
Hazel and
I can do this!
fire.
You've seen
Is
the
anybody
one.
else getting worried?
No, you've seen the one at Hearthhome. You've just never used the one at Hearthhome. Come on, Darvin's never cooked a day in his life.
Just saying, Hazel and fire. This seems bad.
I'm just I'd say this is the last time for adventurers, but it probably isn't. Fuck my life and walks away.
Well, I mean, I'm not really hungry right now, so we can just hold off. If
Maybe eat things lightly while we're in the air.
think light thoughts.
And now I'm just... Remy is getting the look. Like, what? What are you?
Remy's looking at Darwin.
Flitty kind of coasts back in, and it just looks so terribly exuberant. It turns around to Froseth and going, "I'm really far up! I went flying outside and it helped me get really far up. I can't usually get this far because my wings are tiny!"
And
Thank
Darwin
you,
just
Flitty.
loses it cute.
Thank you, Flitty.
No, Draconic,
What
speaking
the
to
hell
Froseth.
said?
So,
Mhm.
Darwin can understand because his hat. Froseth
Mhm.
can understand because Draconic, but unfortunately this leaves Nye and Hazel out. Draconic is default for Flitty, basically. So yeah, he's just gallivanting around the table, just boing, 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 boing.
I don't need to understand. I just see a happy Flitty.
Yeah. I'm trying to say words and I'm just laughing. It's just I can't. I just squee. Just
And there's a bird, and the bird is green, like her bow green. Little claw points at Hazel.
Oh, hey Hazel, Flitty saw the bird.
You saw the bird? Zip.
It switches to Sylvan. "I saw the bird. Flew with the bird. I'm so far up. It's great.
Same grain?
Same green. With little yellow bits."
What kind of bird?
Oh no, not one that
Green.
I was talking. Please, the bird doesn't
Sorry.
interrupt me.
Scritches.
I'm gonna go fly now where the bird doesn't interrupt me. So are you guys going to establish a game plan at all now that you've hopefully got Hazel breathing again?
Yeah. Well, now that we're on the way, so as far as I can tell, the plan is to somehow join the Brass Arrows, I guess, because it seems to be my understanding you have to if you want to go hunting. So, anybody have any idea how the hell we're going to even do that?
Talk to the governor.
Well, if they're not gonna let us hunt, I guess that means we can't hunt something and then present it to show off what great hunters we are.
Right.
If you recall, Hazel actually has the right idea. There was mention made in the song that the governor basically runs the whole thing, and she did say if you were stuck to come see her.
Mm-hmm.
So for once, Hazel is just, you guys are discussing this, and all of a sudden, talk to the governor comes from.
And I'm just like, huh? What she said.
I mean, there's the.
You're absolutely right, Hazel. Thank
you. The governor started it, and well,
right.
We know who the governor is because
We met them, sort of.
Via mirror, yes.
Sir Portman.
Right. Sort of.
Ross.
Yeah. We've already been introduced, so yeah, Hazel is hit the nail right on the head. Bravo. Well done.
If you're looking in the direction of the window, you see a flash of green, flash of blue.
Man, they're quick. This is the first time I've seen Flitty fly that fast.
I guess we don't have to worry about Flitty getting left behind, at least.
Well, I mean, that's right. I'm sorry. Did you understand any of what Flitty was saying? I was trying to translate, but it was too cute. Flitty has never had before, and it's just like Hazel levels of excited. So it's amazing.
That's fair. I guess
Amazing. And
ship isn't moving that fast compared to a fairy dragon.
well, horizontally at
Bird.
least. But yeah, so hence the exuberant flying. But Flitty seems okay, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah, no, I guess that will be the game plan to see the governor. Not really sure. I guess we just
So we landed, we go.
figure out where the governor is at.
Land. Ah!
Oh, damn. You were doing
Damn
so
it.
well.
I'm okay.
We land slowly. Apparently, it's too nice a job to rush. So how you doing, Frosa?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Let me speak to somebody who's not freaking the hell out. Not giving me that look. Glances at Remy. Even though I earned it. I earned it. I earned it. Bad joke. All right.
I'm okay.
I'm still
On
like
the ship.
over at Hazel, just like waiting, waiting for the next one. I'm just like, what's the...
I'm actually headed towards the hallway now.
Okay, well, there's not really much hallway. There's a hallway-shaped gap in the cargo crates.
I'm just looking around at this point.
Cargo crates.
Oh.
Lots and lots of cargo crates. Given your low light vision, you'll see that, and there some are labeled with, names of various fruits and veg, seafood. Most of those are in a rather colder section towards the back. A couple of crates seem to be basically devoted entirely to alcohol. This is mostly textiles and foodstuffs that you're carrying.
See anything interesting?
It's food. It's a lot of food. It's like all
know that.
food and some other things.
Okay. So we basically have the part of a plan at least. So we go to the governor, find out what we have to do to quote unquote prove ourselves, and go from there, I guess.
Okay.
That's
the only kind of plan that's possible at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do we know? Okay. Well, we don't know what they're going to spring on it. Do we know anything really about where we're going?
Remy and Froseth, make me history checks. Remy has advantage.
Ooh.
I'm asking the important questions for once.
Oh, advantage. There we go. 16.
And Froseth? Well, you didn't
Nope,
have
I'm not supposed to have
advantage, but either way you fail.
And yeah.
Even if
I don't know why that was set to advantage. Change it now before I forget.
I know. What I want to know is why you rolled twice. Both times
I
with advantage.
double clicked, forgetting I could only need to click once.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to roll one more time because technically one of those rolls succeeded.
Okay.
Trying to pick out which one is sort of.
Okay. No.
Wah, wah.
Definitively 6.
Remy's heard stories about the region. Obviously, it being closer to Belarus and points surrounding, she'd have heard things in taverns and from fellow mercenary bands when they've got something particularly big. There's a few people she's encountered on her travels who are members of the Brass Arrows, and technically she remembers Orin was one, still is. That's why he keeps going out hunting. It's a more primitive, in a sense, sort of place than even Goldendale, it's very rough around the edges. It's very much a warrior culture. I mean, there's obviously, you know, more to it than just fighting, but for the most part, let me just look up what I wrote about the actual area. The province is Alamaver. It's predominantly dry plains and desert. It's relatively underpopulated. A lot of poets, a lot of bards, a lot of storytellers, but also a significant warrior, barbarian kind of culture, mostly because of the brass arrows. Rumor is that the governor has the brass arrows as much as a cover for an intelligence network as anything else, because people go out, kill things, they come back with the bounties. They come back to collect their bounty and talk about it, obviously. So she gets to find out what the hell's going on. Has a largely hands-off policy about law enforcement, mostly because anybody who is in her capital city can handle themselves, and if they can't, they don't belong there. And if you go to talk to her, expect significant conversation. If you try to get out of having a conversation with her to any extent whatsoever until she says it's done, it reputedly doesn't get violent, it just gets weird, and you aren't going anywhere. We'll assume Remy says that.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
Weird? How weird?
Is that really a question we want the answer to?
before we walk in,
Let's not.
yeah,
Let's
True.
not find out.
yeah,
True.
I agree. I mean, I'm learning editing, but I don't necessarily
Oh, for the love of God.
not want to talk.
For the love of God, you guys make me an intelligence check.
Okay. Oops, wrong mouse.
I need to find out whether I can justify reminding you of this, because this was yesterday!
I was about to say,
19.
warrior culture, they're probably gonna make us duel somebody.
We can handle that.
No, and that's, yeah, okay.
And 20.
20!
20 total, not nat 20. But, yeah,
Mm.
20 total is 20 total. Nat 20 is cause for celebration. Think we're just missing Furseth now?
11.
Yeah, it's Remy and Furseth who don't remember that somebody was talking about brass dragons being particularly not up for, being particularly keen on having a conversation, very much into the niceties, but they understand it from a draconic point of view. And they usually have the power, one way or another, to enforce what they see as polite. This was the story Darvin will remember, because Darvin's good with stories, about the guy who was trying to get out of having a conversation with a brass dragon, and got put to sleep and woke up buried up to his neck in sand.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember how. I did actually remember a story about a guy trying to get out of a conversation with a brass dragon, but I couldn't remember how he was restrained. But now I remember he was buried up to his neck.
What?
So just sand.
Oh.
But yeah, immobilized. And yeah.
No,
He tried
Hazel
to get out of
Hazel
recovery.
remembers this. This was only a couple of days ago. You guys were told this story.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
remember that,
Oh
Hazel?
no.
Nye was even there for that story to tell you how recent it was.
Yeah. So we will probably get. There will be conversation had. There will probably be lengthy conversation had. Just let it happen.
Yeah, Remy is very much, we will probably get a dinner invite, and we stay until dismissed. Frankly,
Well, that that's how it is with nobility in some cases. So I mean that makes sense. This is not noble per se. Governor's a bit of a different thing. However, it being a dragon, yeah. So I get it. That does actually make a fair bit of sense.
Basically, anything you would do around a noble, you do like ×5 around that.
Yeah, basically the good yeah, ballpark. Yeah, good basic point of reference, I think.
So much bigger than a noble.
Yeah. Well, literally.
On several levels.
Well, depending on the noble.
Yeah, so no pressure.
Yeah. Basically, just don't be rude.
Best behavior, or at least quiet behavior.
Yeah. No.
Hazel.
hey, she was
Remy?
actually one of the better behaved around frickin'.
Yeah. Not for nothing, but which one of us was putting on their helmet?
And putting a hand
just
on their
saying.
sword.
And the sword thing?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. Given the shock of the situation, I'm not blaming you. I'm just. That's all. That's all. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, not the wisest. I'm not one to judge. I'm just saying.
And
Okay.
And to
Anyway.
think you thought you were getting out of this when you were getting away from your parents again.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get there. We'll see about. I mean, does anybody know? Do we just find out where the governor is and say, "Hey, we're here," or
Yeah, that's probably best.
I mean,
We
my
should-
my guess is as soon as we land, we basically just go straight there.
On the
Yeah,
other
but
hand,
we know-
on the other hand, you might want to find a base of operations depending when you land.
I was gonna get to that. I mean, that assumes that we're not showing up at midnight or something.
We arrived at the front door and politely asks for an appointment.
Yeah, or at least hey, we give them the rundown as to why we're there, and yeah, I guess ask for them. Yeah,
Sent by,
that would work.
I don't know, Governor Fortinbras?
Yeah.
Except you weren't.
I mean, oh, well, I mean, because we weren't technically. I mean,
There's that letter thing that got us onto the ship in the first place.
that was just to get here.
No, that was also whoever letter out
You
now.
probably have it actually, because
I think.
And I'm shoving the text of it in Darvin's face.
in
Right.
fact
Right.
it
Back up for
is it's not specifically an invitation to see. There's 2 pages to it. One is let them on the airship. 2 is the individuals presenting this letter should be considered in the running for membership of the Brass Arrows. Please see that they are put forward to any and all challenges as seen fit. Unfortunately, what it does not do is say where they need to report to, because that you never asked.
So yeah, this actually doesn't. It's not an invite. It's an invite to be put forward as possible candidates for the Brass Arrows. It does not tell us where to go or how
Yeah,
to
but if
go about
governor
presenting
is
ourselves.
responsible,
I'm
Right.
sure someone in the city can point us in the right direction.
Exactly. So my guess, my guess here is we get there. Depending on what time it is, we let the governor know, hey, we're here. We either go to where the governor is and we speak to their staff, because if that's not the right course of action to take, chances are, like you said, they'd probably be able to tell us, oh, no, you don't need to talk to the governor. You're going to go talk to this other person. So we'll do that.
yep.
Good.
I'm gonna go hammock now.
It has started to get fairly dark.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's probably. Has it gotten dark, dark?
Not, I mean, you know that sort of twilight where there's yellow
Mhm.
at,
Yep. Gotcha.
at the bottom. It's just that you're sort of up.
I'm gonna I'm gonna walk with Hazel to make sure Hazel gets back to Hazel's room. Okay.
Yeah, she's okay. She's just
And I guess are we are gonna go ahead and turn in for the night at this point, or
you're
you're
muted,
muted,
Ben.
Ben.
These rooms, do they have like windows in them or anything like that?
They have again one little porthole window per. They really are tiny rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and there's little candle sconces in each, but they're clearly not expected to see much use.
Froseth, you take the bottom one.
Furseth might have to
Sure.
take the floor. Actually, he is 6.5 feet tall.
Yep.
He has claws, and
Mhm.
trying
Oh,
to get
I'm
in.
leaving that up to Froseth.
Trying to get into the hammock is going to be an education.
I'm gonna leave that up to Froseth. I just said that just as a matter of course. Froseth, yeah, if you can even fit, you're taking the bottom one.
Funnily enough, it will technically support his weight, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the world.
The dragonborn is now a pretzel.
Wow, they're sturdier than they look.
It's sort of first it's sort of scrunched up into this is what being in the egg must have felt like.
Well, you should be fairly flexible. Probably, at the very least, more comfortable than a hard floor.
That is very true.
I'm not gonna tune in just yet. I'm gonna stand out on the railing and just watch the.
You're going to stand
watch the stars
on the railing.
No, well, I meant leaning on the railing.
At the railing.
Thank you. That's what I meant. Because I want to
Everyone's
watch the
telling-
actual. I've never
Everyone's telling me to
seen.
get on the airship. I tell them I'm getting in the airship.
Well, technically, he is on the airship.
Anyway, modifiers are important. Okay.
I go up
You
there
see,
too.
that's the thing. One requires a dexterity saving throw.
I'm going to go up there too, maybe find a clear spot on the deck, and kind of go into trance outside
Okay.
with moonlight and stars and things.
I've never seen skies. I've never been above the clouds. Like this is like, when am I ever going to see this again? I mean, so I'm just gonna. Watch.
You're going to pull a jack at the bow.
Oh, not quite, but new experience. Come on. I am not king of the world. Not even king of Barrensburg.
No, you're just the bard.
You do get Flitty sort of thump on your shoulder. That was fun. Just sort of
You
curl
okay?
curl up around his neck and go to sleep.
Okay. Scritch, 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 scritch. It's very light. Just
Yeah, he's remember he's still recovering, but
mm-hmm.
clearly just delight at being up that high gave him a little extra energy burst.
Mm-hmm. I'm scritching. I'm just watching the stars come out and the sky go dark and scritching Flitty lightly like I do with Dusk when he's passed out in my lap. And once it does go dark and there's really not much else, I'll go ahead and go and curl up and go to sleep.
The next couple of days pass pretty much the same way. Even for how fast you're going, this is a large province. Yeah, you've probably picked up speed as you've gone up, but there's enough cloud that it's hard to tell just how fast you're going. It's always harder overland. You do pass occasional little dots of cities and towns as you go by.
Having gotten more used to the view, I will actually spend some time at the railing, just looking down, looking at the
Yeah, you can
the place I've never seen before. When I can see through the clouds, that is.
you can see when you look to the west the cliff line that marks the border between Equitas and Baronsveer, and it just extends the entire length of the. It looks like it extends the entire length of the continent. Actually, make me a perception check. Anybody who's going to be spending an excessive amount of time at the rail.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying more centered.
19.
9. Wow, my rolls today have just.
Maybe you're
Yeah.
just getting them out of your system. Besides, I figure that Froseth is more reveling in the movement of the air. Because you don't get this on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you are literally in the element.
And this is something that probably few to no way the Four Elements monks have ever been able to do. So you're in an interesting place. As Darvin looks out one day, moderately, one of probably the second day as you're starting to get further north and approaching your destination, way off in the distance, just around that cliff edge, there's this blot of dark cloud. It looks terribly localized. It is far, far away, but given how high you are,
Hmm.
one of the deckhands watches you and leans up in the railing next to you. You've been hovering. What you got?
You see that
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
that way out there?
Weird localized weather pattern. I don't know. Doesn't move over here, so we really don't give a shit.
I'm trying to figure out from because my first thought is that is that Star Coast?
No. Star Coast way down south.
That what? Right. That's what I thought. That's what I'm. Okay. What is
No,
that?
That's actually come over here. Pulls out a map.
Oh, excellent.
That'd be probably Black Crown. Always been a bit grubby, the weather out there. It's like this, like the sun doesn't like shining on there.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Little voice, little voice from up in the rigging pipes up. I'm telling you, dragon. Oh, for pity's sake, will you knock it off? There aren't any dragons in Baronsville. It's too dinky to bother with. Look, there's kinds of dragons that really don't like the nicer weather. Green's like marshy and swampy, and black's just like rocks and nonsense. Well,
Rocks and nonsense.
I don't know. I've never met one.
Fair point.
But they're supposed to like grubby weather. But this is just this. If you look up into the rigging, you will find a gnome.
Hello.
Red pigtails, lots of freckles. Hi.
I get this look like a gnome with red hair and pigtails and that shade of red. I'm like, you remind me of someone I know, in a good way.
Well, there's. I'm from Eggriff. Lots of redhead gnomes in Eggriff. Redhead gnomes, redhead halflings. But I haven't been back in a good 5 years.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I'm just saying. Dragons like grubby weather.
Not an illogical jump to make. And just because. Anyway, thank you for clarifying. And I'm gonna step away and find the rest of the group and inform them of that little bit of information.
I'm probably in the break room praying.
Yeah, you have occasionally had a little pigtailed gnome who's about your age, actually. Sort of, while you're in the break room praying, sort of walks up, looks at you for a while. Puts a stick of something red and strawberry smelling on the table in front of you and leaves. Yes, yes, it's red licorice.
And I'm just red-headed gnome. I've got that, like, I'm filing that away going, I need to try to find out where Mara's actually from. Or was from. Because, anyway.
First, you don't know the gnome's name.
I know.
Would help.
I completely forgot.
Well,
Yeah, I completely forgot.
you meet her on the second day. Hazel's been seeing her around because every time Hazel looks particularly panicked, it's just poof, gnome, stick of red licorice, boom, gone again. So when Darvin is going to find Hazel, he sees red pigtails vanishing from a hatch, and Hazel looking at another one of these wibbly licorice sticks, which she probably likes, but
That's the same gnome. And
Same
Okay,
same gnome as what?
oh, I haven't got her name. Dang it.
Go ask.
no, he's
Did you see
talking.
how quick Did you see how quick she moved?
Still try.
Well,
Maybe
anyway,
later when it's
later.
when you're landing, because that's going to be in about 5
there's-
hours apparently.
Bracken Crown. If you look out, not down, but out, way out.
Uh-huh.
Not from
It's-
the break room window. It's not visible from the break room window.
Right. You have to go outside to the railing.
I'm not going
where-
outside.
Not
I
to
know.
the railing.
Hence why I said out, not down. But anyway, it's got this localized weather pattern. It's this big
It's a
Black
storm. It's a storm,
cloud.
basically.
It's a storm cloud just like there, just hanging.
So you
There.
saw a cloud in the sky.
100% totally unmoving, though everything else was.
So somebody
Localized.
has their own
just that
personalized
one.
rainstorm.
Thank you. It was,
Where is it?
I've always heard that as an expression, but I never thought I'd actually see it.
well, you haven't seen it unless you want to go out and look.
No, thank you.
Actually, to be
I'm not
fair,
going out
you don't
there.
have to
Tell
be
me where it
standing
is.
on the you don't have to be standing at the railing to see
You
it.
could just look.
You can just look in that direction, particularly if you borrow a spyglass from one of the crew.
Like, borrow a spyglass. Take a look. It's
Let's
weird.
all go to the railing.
Remy is indeed going to go somewhat close to the railing and
Yeah,
look.
it's sort of northwest. So, and yeah, more than likely, the elves will tend to have slightly sharper vision. Don't even start with me. So they probably won't need the spyglass, but first they'll have fun trying to figure out how the damn thing works and not, scratch it. Because well, his hands are larger, so it's trying not to
Hey,
stick
for-
himself in the palms with his claws as he's wrapped around the thing.
Yeah, Froseth, you want me
No.
to hold that so you can
I'm
kind
like,
of.
So
I'm
okay,
still
that's
as close to the door back down as I can get.
and I'm not
And
that
if
far
possible,
away.
gripping the door. Where is it?
So
But eventually you will all get a somewhat reasonable look. More so,
So what do we
obviously,
do?
if you have a spyglass.
It's just.
But where is that? Like, where on a map? That's not
I said-
Goldendale, I don't think.
It got
Black and brown.
garbled, Ethan.
Bracken Crown? I
Black,
think it was.
Black Crown?
Black Crown, sorry. Thank you.
The king's barony.
Ugh.
That's Black Crown, as in that's King. And, like, because we're still not trying to let people.
Yeah.
So, that little red gnome that keeps dropping off the licorice is of a mind that it's a dragon.
I'm still saying it's a dragon from directly above.
Oh, hey!
The cloud is a dragon.
No, not the cloud.
The
Spicing
cloud's
it.
there because the dragon's there. I'm almost sure
Thank
of it.
you.
Okay,
Is-
that makes somewhat more sense.
is that a thing?
What's your. I didn't catch your name, by
That's
the
a
way.
good question.
Emmy.
You wouldn't happen to have relatives that made it out to Star Coast?
Well, I've got relatives. Don't know where some of them went. I'd need more than where
Sorry.
they went.
Mara?
Mira.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I have a Mira, second cousin. She had to. She ran away from home.
Well,
And
okay.
diamond
Anyway,
plate.
we met her. She has a. What would that make, Evan? Evan, sorry.
She
we met
had
her,
it?
um,
Oh, poor thing.
he's fine. He's
No, no,
safe. He's good.
That's not why. Zzz, and lands. That's not why I'm saying. It's just she left. She ran off because, well, my dad's bastard. And was doing things he really oughtn't have been doing. So most of us who had anything
Oh,
to
hell.
do with him left. Me, her.
She.
I hear they caught him finally.
Oh,
Calatiel apparently put him in stocks and let people throw basically any messy thing they wanted at him for about a month and then banished him.
oh. Okay.
It's
Good.
inventive.
He doesn't like kitty fiddlers. Because Darvin doing the maths, when she had Evan, she would have been about 13.
Mm-hmm. Well, Evan's fine.
I'm guessing Mira's
Um,
not. Or you just
no.
started with that.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, she's not. Um, but it's a long story. But suffice it to say, Evan is fine and thriving,
Well, good something
and
good
in a
came
very
out.
good place.
Good that
Hmm.
something good came out of that. And, she got away. That's something.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't have a bad life. It seemed like she was definitely badass. And I can see okay, it wasn't the red hair and it wasn't the gnome that tipped me. It was the speed. Evan's got your speed, and so did Mira.
Oh, we got
So
we some of it, not all of us, but some of us did got a little bit of the sneaky. Funnily enough,
hmm
with the holds up a pigtail. I know, but I suppose that's how we got away.
yeah. Well, anyway.
Anyway, we've got about 5 hours before we land. If
Mhm.
if Fluffy Hair over there panics again, give us some of these, and hands a bundle of red
Oh,
licorice. She seems to like
thank
him.
you.
Grabs a rope, yoink, fee, and up she goes.
Wow. I gotta
I
tell
am
Evan.
still like attached to the doorway.
Okay, Hazel, go
I'm
back.
I'm just trying to remember everything I know about dragons, or have heard about dragons, or etc.
Nature check.
Okay, one nature check coming up.
Let's.
14.
They're somewhere between large and huge. They get larger and more powerful as they get older. They basically spit different things depending on what color they are.
And they come in different colors.
Yes, and so silver and whites are ice. Red and gold are fire. You get a little bit lost after that, but you seem to remember from them that black was acid, green was poison, but after that you kind of get lost a little bit. Bronze was apparently lightning, given
Hmm.
Basically, nothing about preferred weather patterns.
not with that roll, no.
Yeah.
Emma there, basic was saying that
Emmy,
black dragons. Emmy. Sorry, thank you. Emmy was saying that black dragons like, well, grubby weather, and that certainly qualifies. So, hence the jump in logic that if the weather's just getting grubby and it's not going anywhere, that's probably a dragon. I didn't dissuade them of it, but I also didn't confirm. So,
except you just did from way up in the rafters. Way up in the rigging. If you want to have this conversation private, you probably don't want to do it on the deck.
crap.
Come with us.
I am so not used to airships.
Why am I coming with you?
Because at this point, it's easier to just explain to you.
I'll meet you
They're
down there.
busy.
I'll meet
Or
you.
not.
I'll meet you down there. And little head disappears. I'm assuming you go back to the break room.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
When you get there, she's sort of poking head out of a basically a trap door in the ceiling. What? So you're telling me there's actually a dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
How can you sort of have a dragon? Sort of dragon is a derogatory term for people like him, pointing at Furseth.
It would be, except he knows
Good
the
point.
situation too. It's a dragon, but doesn't apparently want people to know. And we're not certain what would happen if people did know. And it could potentially make things very, very bad for a whole lot of people, including Evan. So
What?
this is why I'm trying.
And leans down a little further. What, you mean like the governors?
Dot, 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 dot.
I
Yeah.
know things. I listen. Nobody notices me.
But that's why I was not. That's why I was loath to confirm or deny that it was a dragon. It is a very not good one, and we're going
Giant scaly asshole!
to be dealing with it. That's why we're here. That's why
Yes,
we're
he
going
probably. It looks looking at Hazel. Yeah, he probably does have one of those. Yeah.
Took you guys a minute.
That was not a part of a dragon I wanted to think about right then. Thanks, Hazel.
Well, better think about it now than when it's sitting on you. Sorry, you got hero written all over you, and you wouldn't be this reluctant to even gossip about it if you weren't going to do something about it.
That's basically.
That's also
why.
a good point.
Yeah, I mean the whole. It's just like I said. If he doesn't know that we know, then we have an advantage. If he finds out that we know and other people know, then he's got no reason to hide, and it could be.
And or cause problems at home.
It could exacerbate the situation for everyone in ways that I have absolutely no frame of reference, and would frankly rather not have a frame of reference. So that's why I was like,
Yeah, in which case you shouldn't have even been talking about it on the deck.
I used airships.
Hmm.
You never been to Al-Zorhai, have you?
Nope.
Why are you going there?
You have to find a thing.
We have to find a particular creature. As
So
part
that
of,
we can use bits to make something that'll...
Be useful to us.
there you go.
Make me a... Oh, I don't know. I suppose it would be a deception check at this point.
From...
Darwin with advantage?
Okay. Deception. There it is. Oh, an advantage. So let me scroll up. Advantage. Deception. Submit. 17.
Natural 20.
God!
Damn it!
20 on an insight check.
That looks at you. Well, okay. Now, things that might be useful to you, probably not all that important. Certainly not important enough to travel across half a continent and a country border for. But if it was something real important that might be, I don't know, ending a situation before it could exacerbate, you're probably gonna need to speak to people and who have a lot of people talking to them day to day. So you're probably gonna need a base of operations. If you're doing something important, of course. If you're not doing something important, it probably doesn't matter. But if you were doing something important, you might consider looking for the Tipsy Pixie. And then shuts the trapdoor.
Tipsy Pixie. Okay.
That's good to know.
I like
But now I'm
that.
wondering. I wonder how Jaloy's doing. Anyway. Tipsy Pixie. I'm like, what would they drink out of? Anyway.
Buttercups.
He'd probably know better than most.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I can see it. Anyway, so okay, I guess when we land, we depending on what time it is, we go either find the governor or find the Tipsy Pixie, or in some.
Why not both?
Pixie. Blah, blah, blah. That's gonna be. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway. Well, that was interesting. Hopefully, we didn't just let the cat out of the bag. Oh well. Anyway, nothing to worry about it now.
It sounds like she already had a cat.
Like she said, nobody notices him. And that family doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I'm just-
Nye has no the hell idea what you guys are talking about.
Evan basically teleports.
Yeah, well, not actually. But Evan is a gnome child that I kind of adopted because he met Mira in Star Coast, and Mira was with us when Star Coast kind of went. Yeah, thank you.
That from Flitty.
And my and Mira was both killed by the Baron of Star Coast and then turned into what Froseth? Do you remember what that was? Either Froseth, Hazel, either of you remember what that was called? I
Gibbering
think
mouther.
that's what it was. Thank you. And it was mouth something because it was all
Oh,
mouths.
what?
It's
It
just
was creepy.
yeah. Think mound of mouths and nastiness and yeah.
Eyes,
Anyway,
also eyes.
oh yeah, and eyes, lots of eyes.
Oh.
That was dealt with and killed. But on the fleeing from Star Coast, immediately after that, we were able to rescue Evan and out of character. I just completely blanked on her name.
Lissy.
Lissy, that's right. I knew it was an L. Thank you. And Lissy, who are now living at Hearthhome. So when I said Evan was good and thriving, yeah, he really is. But Mira was a thief type, basically running the little underground of Star Coast and looking after Evan, and was pretty badass. I mean, she was amazing, and that's where Evan gets a lot of his interesting qualities. He's a great kid. Seriously. But yeah, so seeing Emmy there, very similar to Mira in some ways, and so that caught my eye. And come to find out, I was right. They are related, if distant. So.
Yeah, gnomes tend towards the clannish.
Mm.
Remy will know, particularly in the sort of Egref part of the world, you'll find clans that are like 5 generations of 3 or 4 times removed. So the odds were pretty good that this gnome was related to their gnome if they both came from that area. It's the real coincidence is that it was that close.
So is any of that getting said?
Oh yeah, because that basically gnomes are apparently often related.
Okay. I've not encountered many, so I didn't know, but it was the like I said, it was the zip 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 fling, that I was like, wait a second. So
Of course,
okay.
Hazel
Sneaky, just as
also
fast.
notices that every time Darvin's waving a hand, he's waving those chewy strawberry things.
Hey, Darvin, check your hand.
What? Oh, here, have one. Pocket.
Instead of
Carefully
pocket
put them in-
bacon, you have pocket licorice. Okay.
Anyway,
In any case,
so yeah, Tipsy Pixie and Governor, and we land in about 5 hours. So does anybody have anything else they need to do before we land?
Pray more.
Take a trance.
It's actually getting towards the later afternoon, so it's probably going to be heading on towards dark by the time. It was probably going to be dark and then some by the time you get there.
Okay, looking out the window, we're probably gonna have to find the Tipsy Pixie first because it's probably gonna be dark by the time we land. So
Okay.
I'm glancing at Hazel, who for once didn't freak out when I said landing.
Well, you've been up you've been up in the air for 2 days.
And she's got one of those strawberry things.
Fair enough.
Nomp.
I'm gonna
strawberry
take one out and
distractions.
hold it out to Flitty, wherever Flitty's at. If Flitty's on my shoulder, I'll do that. Or
Well,
if
Flitty sort of perches everywhere on this ship, so he just sort
Okay.
of hold it out,
I just
and
hold it
then,
up.
and then half of it goes missing. This blur of blue. Nomp.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to figure out where these came from.
Creak. Ask at the Tipsy Pixie. Slam.
This is just everywhere.
Mira, I swear to the gods,
In any case,
it runs true. I love it. That's amazing.
In any case, the 5 hours pass with Hazel praying, Farsheth and enjoying the rest of the sensation of being that far up in the air. Rest of you doing whatever thing you're going to be doing. Last sunset watched from the deck.
Yep.
That kind
Yep.
of thing. And you appear. You descend very slowly, so you don't really notice. But you appear right about there. And we're just at about that time, so we're going to take our break, and then you will encounter the city of Al-Zorhai. And we're back. The Cupcake Coterie is... I will smite the hell out of you. The Cupcake Coterie is on an airship approaching the city of Al-Zorhai as they're coming in for their descent at the air tower. So there, Emmy actually descends from the rigging, just sort of turns up next to her. Okay, just to give you a quick précis because I guessing you've never been here before. If people say the quiver, that means that's the area where the that's the area where the brass arrows and everybody affiliated with them hang out. It's a lot of it's residential because the people who make their long time living at it sort of do that, or there's bits of lodging that people can rent if they actually are brass arrows. If you're not a member, you don't get lodging there. Don't worry, the Tipsy Pixie's not in there, but the nest is. The nest is the gubernatorial building. So you're going to want to head there when you're talking to people about Brass Arrow membership, which you apparently are going to do. If people say the Fletchings, that's the market. You've got a paladin and you've got a cleric. The God's Hall is there. So for proper prayers that aren't in our galley, you'd want to go there. If people say the Flintlock, that is weapons and armored sale district. Little Feywild is our entertainment district on a number of levels. No, we got a lot of bards. We got a lot of. That's where you find the Tipsy Pixie. So you're gonna want to head for Little Feywild. The Fletchings is the more regular market. You're probably gonna cut through most of that, and again, that's where the God's Hall is. So those are the places that you're probably gonna want to be on the lookout for. People can sort of give you directions as you come in. I can probably take you actually. We're staying for at least until dawn, and I'm gonna want something decent to eat. We try, but yeah, we're on a ship, and as you noticed, we kind of made a bit of a skip of dinner. There's some nice spots to eat in Little Feywild, so.
I mean, you're more than welcome.
I'll show you where you need to be, and then I'll leave you to do your hero things.
That would be greatly appreciated.
All right, then. And then yoinks on the rope and fee!
Oh. Man, I gotta figure out how to do that. That's a great entrance. And exit.
About half an hour later, you've descended to the raised tower that is your airship port, and everybody, Emmy included, are lashing the airship to the various bits. There's a spot below decks where if you lean a little, now that you're closer to the ground, you can just about see that they've actually opened a hatch in the bottom of the airship to let out cargo, which they're winching down on a much more primitive elevator setup than you saw in Belarus. But there's somebody below carefully winching so that it doesn't just thud. You guys have stairs winding around the place to the bottom. Emmy's already waiting for you when you get down to the bottom.
Yep.
Wait.
It's Emmy.
I use the ropes.
I would have guessed the banister.
Nah, a little too curvy. You get enough speed and whoop, you're right off the edge. I saw someone do that once. Funnily enough, was an elf.
It was an elf.
Oh no, he's still an elf. I'm kind of hoping he's a lot less stupid now.
Blink, blink, blink.
Apparently you're only half stupid. Looking at Hazel.
Audible,
In Sylvan. I'm not going to say anything.
Emmy and Sylvan, go right ahead. I've heard it from professionals. And then in common, come on, let me show you where you're heading.
And I'm following,
Yeah, Hazel just.
getting more than a little boggled.
Well, yeah, given that she was implying that Nye was 100% stupid.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so pottering down the road, you've clearly landed in what little qualifies as farmland. As you've been traveling the last day, you've been going over a lot of scrub and wasteland and just scruffiness, but people are managing to pull some semblance of crop out of the ground just along the edges of things. Not a whole lot, and they're not plants you recognize, but whatever they are, they seem to be thriving, and somebody must be using them for something.
Hmm.
You potter through the main the main market of the Fletchings, and Emmy actually makes a point of pointing out the taller sandstone building. It's a good 8 stories tall. It's the second
Oh, wow.
tallest of the buildings beyond the nest, which is about the size of about the size of Fortinbras's spot, with the same flat roof. The architecture is a lot less mismatched here.
Hmm.
The market contains a terrible lot of tent. One thing you will notice is it's very warm in this particular part of the country. The rest is sandstone, very simple architecture. It's mostly on the
Hmm.
level of cubes and rectangles, but yeah, the sandstone has been very carefully worked. There's where the buildings are quite old, but they've stood the test of time. But the market part, again, is mostly brightly colored silk tents, and from all corners you hear music on half a dozen different stringed instruments and snatches of song in various languages, and it's clearly, yeah, Remy was right. This place is full of bards and poets and things. Eventually, you come to a slightly more ornately built sandstone building. It's actually got silk awnings in multicolored stripes. And there's a sign with a pixie holding what appears to be a hollowed out acorn
Oh, wow.
with some sort of liquid sloshing out of it.
So that's what they drink out of. Okay, I can see that.
And then you come into the Tipsy Pixie. Oh no, sorry,
Oh my
wrong
God.
one. That's
Oh,
actually that's the wrong map. Damn, stopped in the wrong place. Sorry, that one is. You'll see the other one later.
okay.
There we
Oh
go.
boy.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's bars either side, and at the front, it much like the Bravos boast, but a lot more colorful, and it's a different kind of lively. There's not much in the way of music, but the tables that are occupied, as well as some spots at the bar, you'll find people mostly dressed in light linens and flowing silks, having lengthy debates. This must be sort of where the philosophers hang out. Um, there's a smell of, you think it's some kind of fowl, um, as in bird, uh, at the back where meats are roasting out by the fireplaces, which surprisingly don't make the place as warm as you'd think it should, given the warm night air. The smell is not on top with that, there's less of an ale smell to the air as there is wine and a sort of an incensey kind of smell. You find a couple of people at tables at the center being this really ornate glass pipe kind of a apparatus that people are apparently smoking out of. And no, it's not that pungent smell that you guys found in Bellarace's 420 East Main. It's more of it's a different kind of herbal, and it doesn't seem to be as intoxicating as it were, but it's still. I mean, it's basically your it's basically your non cannabis hookah pipe kind of situation. One has a sort of an aniseed fennel kind of smell to it, and there's one that's sort of cinnamon and clove over close by you guys, and a human individual standing by the door is going, "Welcome to the Tipsy Pixie. How can we help you?"
We need lodging. And we were
Okay.
told this was the place to find it.
Yeah, it is interesting that we get non-philosophers being pointed in our general direction. As you can see, we are a quieter sort of establishment, and we like to keep it that way. We have the talkers more than we have the singers. There are poets and storytellers that come to work, and we do not tolerate any fighting. You will not like what happens if there is any fighting.
Understood.
How many rooms would you be liking? Mostly we have individual rooms, but we do have a few that, if you are interested in more of a bargain, there are shared accommodations, or if any of you are involved.
No.
If it is solitary rooms, we do also offer for an additional fee companionship. I am merely pointing out the amenities.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I am now imitating.
A tomato.
The licorice.
Yes.
Or the licorice, whatever.
Or licorice. Yes. Or the licorice. There we go. I'm just sort of glancing at everybody else, just like, that's up to y'all. Anyway,
I'm basically more MC than I was before, and that's an accomplishment.
Remy is just poker face.
figured.
I swear,
okay,
every time you
so-
say that, every time you say shit like that, I am going to make you make a deception check. Yes, I am making you make a deception check.
Oh, I am.
Yes, yes you are.
Yes, you am.
Yes, you
Okay.
is. No, you are not maintaining a poker
Nope.
face. So come on, what is behind the poker face that everybody can see through?
Just morbid curiosity. I guess.
The gentleman just says, I understand that for some of the more provincial sorts, this is a private matter. If you do find yourself curious or wishing for companionship, I am Emil. And if you speak to me, I can arrange things for you. We cater to all preferences.
Thank you. We will need to figure out if we're doing individual or shared rooms or some combination thereof.
Our rooms sleep too, so one of you will need, at least one of you will need a separate room. The individual rooms are 17 silver per night. The shared room would be 2 gold.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Can we sit, talk for a bit, get some food?
Yes, you would want to speak to Tev and Alend over at
Alan?
the Alend, yes, over
Alan,
at
okay.
the food bars. Um, I do not know who is working the alcohol bars at the moment, but we have turnover. You see, we
Mhm.
recently had people who have gone off on holidays. So
Ah, okay. Thank you. And I will speak to you once we've figured out our requirements. Thank you.
and he just gives a nod and gestures to the interior.
Let's go.
You enter. People sort of look up as you approach, and there they are in their clean linens and their flowing silks, and there's you guys.
Yep. Hello.
The sort of
I'm just grinning. I'm like, we do not look like we're from here, and there's absolutely no way we could. So I'm just gonna.
weirdly, Froseth's attire fits in better than anything you guys are wearing.
At least my armor is relatively new.
Yes,
It's
just
still armor, but at least it's clean armor.
And I've got mine looking like big, looking like the purple shirt and everything. So I'm like, bling. I'm like, if I'm gonna make an entrance, why not?
I am effectively a green and brown bush.
Foomp.
Yeah, what has the hot, dry air done to it?
Foomp.
Yeah.
I should have guessed.
I am a brown and green bush.
Okay, you were serious. All right.
Smeagol
I'm
knows
just-
what Hazel's hair does.
Yeah, fair enough. Hello.
I'm fishing out the comb brush thing, the green one that I was given, and like almost reverently popping it open.
In a minute, Hazel. In a minute. Let's go to food bars and try to get a table and go from there.
There's plenty of tables. It is a quiet establishment.
Ah, okay. Well,
You-
I didn't. I
you-
knew it was
you
quiet.
may-
I didn't know how crowded it was.
Yeah, you may need to borrow a chair from one of the other vacant tables, but that table over in the corner is vacant. That table out by the bar is vacant, but depending on and there's plenty of spots on various of the bars. But depending on what you guys are going to be talking about.
Do we want to grab that table in the corner, guys?
I vote corner.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 2 people sitting at this one, so you could just sort of grab a chair from there, no problem.
Yeah, I
A
will
couple
very
of-
politely be.
Couple of middle-aged humans sort of look up at you, give a bit of a nod, and go back to
Thank you very
their
much.
in-depth discussion.
And I'll just slide that chair over. I'll probably go ahead and take that chair for myself.
So you have
Um,
seats.
So I will go find out what's on the menu.
Yeah. Dev is a gnome who's clearly walking on a runner. Alend is. I don't think any of you have ever actually seen what this is before. He's taller than Froseth. We're talking approaching 7 feet. Gray, not silver like Froseth. Humanoid, but huge. Completely hairless.
He's big.
Big. Actually, make me a nature check. All of you.
Four.
16.
Froseth has been in his monastery. He knows humans, he knows dwarves, he knows elves. He barely
10.
knows Dragonborn, you know, and he is one.
13.
10.
It's only Nye who's heard this. Probably he picked this up when he was traveling with the mercenary band to Belarus. That fits the description of... There was one of these in the mercenary group that found him. That is a Goliath. That is apparently half giant of some description. Goliath is to giants what half orcs are to orcs, as far as he knows anyway. That's the general impression he got.
I know none of that. I'm just high. Wow. Okay.
He's just blinking at you. Blink, blink.
Sorry. Big.
Yes. Yes,
Sorry.
I am. Do we have any other observations we would like to make? Perhaps that water is wet?
Sorry. What is the what is the smell? Because it smells amazing. What is that? What is like what's being cooked? Because whatever it is, it smells amazing.
Sorry, I was waiting to make sure you had finished talking. You are finished
get there.
talking.
Eep.
The gnome just sort of... Dev is just going, turkey!
Oh. Okay. Okay. So you have what is on the menu?
And in unison, both looking at you like you are completely stupid, turkey!
Turkey.
And you're not entirely sure whether... There he goes again. And you're not entirely sure whether that's a menu option or an insult.
I've been called worse.
I nudge up and sort of go, what else besides turkey is on the menu, please?
The Goliath looks at you. We know no else. There is turkey. And
Okay.
things that go with turkey. And the gnome is like potatoes, veg, stuff like that. It's
Okay. Then can 5 wait, 1 2, 5. So can we have 5 servings?
I don't know.
Please?
Can you?
May we have 5 servings, please?
Uh,
Oh my
May-
god, everyone in the city's a pedant.
May you pay 8 silvers proportion?
Yes.
Then you may have.
Thank you.
Oh boy.
Well, we did. We are definitely in a place of talkers and philosophers and word folk, as it were. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oops, I put my foot in it. Anyway, I'm gonna go back.
So then sort
Okay.
of, then the question comes: white meat or dark?
Dark. Hey, Hazel. Hazel, Hazel, white or dark?
Dark.
Proseth.
White.
Remy.
White.
No, you're right here, so go ahead.
White, please.
All right.
At which point they just sort of go, so 3 of you want breast meat and 2 of you want dark, so basically we're just giving you a turkey.
That
Yeah.
works.
Yeah,
essentially, it seems like that's the case, yes.
They're looking at you two like you're complete morons, aren't they?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I am so glad Hazel didn't walk up. She's just back there, like, what is happening?
We will serve up dinner for 5 in 3 minutes. Get yourself some drinks someplace that's not here.
Okay.
Shoot. Shoot.
And I go back to the table and go, okay, yeah, we're getting a turkey and stuff that goes with turkey. And does anybody want drinks?
You do!
I need something in a dark beer.
Look, I have never seen anyone of that stature before. It took me back a little.
Yeah, he big!
There
Yeah.
was one of those when the people I met, the rescue party, I guess.
Oh, the
since
merch.
they called him Little Giant, I'm assuming one of his parents was a giant. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh. Okay. So
He's
that okay.
big!
All right. Yeah, I mean, so looking around. So the food bars are there. So
Yeah,
I'm just going to
the
stay here before I do something stupid.
the drinks bar nearest you is currently being manned, for lack of a better word, by deep human, female, deep brown skin, really long black hair. The silks that she's wearing are almost a rumor more than an actual dress.
Oh, God.
They're
a
just
rumor of silk. I love it.
just strategically draped bits of silk in a sort of a skirt and a cross bandolier. It is one of those kinds of outfits that you kind of have to imagine for a number of reasons how you would go about removing it.
And or how it stays in place.
Yeah, exactly. That was where I was going to go in my head. I'm like, where's the? They don't have tape in this.
There's probably some sort of minor magic involved. I'm sure prestidigitation can stretch, for lack of a better verb.
Something like that.
From
Anyway,
where-
And I am now imitating a tomato again. Thank you.
okay.
I've
Well,
gone a
I
bit
know
further and I'm now imitating a beat.
somebody want to. I need somebody else to help me carry.
Nice. So Hazel's going to miss out on the chance of
Yeah.
squawking at at
I am just standing up, turning, and just following Darvin.
I see that. I just look at Hazel. I look at the person behind the bar. I look at Hazel, and I go, "This gonna be good."
I was still standing up. I was still standing up anyway, so I'm, trailing
Okay.
along.
Cool. So, Remy, do you have any preference as far as drink other than alcoholic?
Remy's just busy, kind of. Then she looks back after a moment. Yes, ale, alcoholic.
Alcoholic. Got it. Okay. Process.
Yeah, alcoholic. Pick something. I don't have a preference.
And you suddenly remember that, dude, he's only just figuring out what he likes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because
You know-
he's first time he got drunk was the other day.
Right.
Wait, really?
I'll figure something out.
And see, the woman at the bar sort of smiles at you. We're approaching Andry level attractive here. Hello to you. Welcome to the
Hello.
Tipsy Pixie. How can I help you?
I need some ale. I need
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We do not do much in the way of ale, exactly.
okay.
We are a bit
apologize.
a higher class of an establishment. Mostly we do wines and spirits. I think we have some bottles of some dark thing that we get from Egref, but that's only where it comes to Equitas from. I'm not
Mm.
sure which of the other countries that it comes from, but it is very dark. It comes in individual serving bottles and is not very popular. I smelled
Mm.
it. It smelled like something had rained upon a granary and then let it sit for 3 months.
One
Mm.
bottle of dark stuff, please.
I just look at Nye, just like, with that description? Better you than me.
I am still
Oh.
imitating a beat
She
and squeaking.
she bends, rummages, which, yes, you can just about imagine the view as she does that.
I just give
I
Hazel a
stepped-
smirk.
I'm going to step a little to the side to make sure to not block the view for Hazel.
Come,
I just sort of,
comes back, but it's literally just holding the bottle out. You can have it. We don't want it. And seriously, when you open it, it's bad beer. It is
it's
horrible
skunk.
beer.
Hazel, do you have any idea? You said wines and spirits.
Not the kind of spirits that magically inclined people talk to.
Right.
Uh,
Understood.
the, the term I believe is booze.
Right. Just
Are you all
some.
right? She's leaning up to Hazel. Are you all right?
Just squeaking and slowly going hypersonic.
This
If-
one I think
if-
needs what?
If I tell her that I am technically upon the menu, she would explode, would she not?
Probably.
Yes.
I believe you just did.
Yes, I did, but I was not going to flag that up in order to preserve what few sensibility she has remaining to her. It seemed polite. You are not very polite.
I've been told that. I apologize.
You deserve the grain granary beer.
Steam out of ears and basically sort of not stable on my feet anymore.
Hand on the shoulder.
One moment. And she ducks behind the bar again, this time opening up another one of those cold boxes, and yes, again, with the view. Comes out with a bottle of what appears to be a pink wine.
Hmm.
Is notes of strawberries and watermelon. I do not know if you have heard of watermelon. Probably most of you have not heard of watermelon.
No. Strawberries, yes. Watermelon, not so much.
It goes reasonably well with the meal that we are having, so I recommend this to you. Is a gold for the bottle. Should do fine for 4.
Yes.
And he can continue to have the Rain Granary beer.
Yes. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I actually wasn't. We're new, obviously.
Well,
So
yes,
I
but
appreciate the
we
recommendation. Great.
the people that come into here, they have a very refined palate, and if you are looking for post dinner drinks, I know what we are having for the dessert, and I have liqueurs that I can recommend that will go with that. But I will leave it as something of a surprise to to whet the appetite.
And I'm glancing at Hazel.
Yeah, steam from ears imitating a beat, just non-responsive.
Holds out a hand to Hazel. I am Kezia.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Hazel.
Oh, it's a lovely name. A kiss on the head. Is much of vibrant brown and green in land where there is so much of pale desert sand. It's nice to see.
Thank you.
You should go and sit and have some of the wine. It will do well for you.
we'll take some of the edge off there, Hazel.
Thank you.
Breathe.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God,
Go.
you're pretty.
Yes. Turn.
And she actually puts a hand on Darwin's arm. You are also very pretty.
Oh.
For here you are exotic beauty as to not have any compare. Is the little freckles, and she actually traces. Your dinner is being brought to your table now.
Yes. Thank you. And yeah. Okay.
She's pretty good at her job.
Just
Yeah, I'm just.
Remy,
Hazel,
Remy
go.
very waits for her to be well out of earshot before she says that.
Well, no, I mean, I assumed you were at the table, so
At the table still,
it'd have to be Sato, but you can always wait
Yeah.
until she's seeing to another customer. Well, that's
Yeah,
brutal. That's fucking brutal. Poor Hazel. So yeah,
Yeah, what-
somewhere in the middle of that is she's very good at her job from this one.
Yes.
Ow.
Well, she is. Just saying.
Of course, it probably occurs to Darwin if she was actually trying to be good at her job, she'd have tried for all three of you.
Probably not after the beer order.
not after the beer order, but Darwin
Yeah.
certainly.
Mhm.
I mean, he was less flustered, but equally ogling.
Yeah. I was very
Oh,
appreciative.
Congratulations, you broke Hazel
Very
for the evening.
appreciative.
That was fun. Hazel, you have funds of your own. I'm just saying.
When you guys are back at the table, you also have this. You've had the Goliath, Eldrin just carving the turkey for you guys, and when he's done, so that you guys can just sort of serve yourself, points at Darvin with the carving knife. Stop staring at me.
Yes, sir.
But stomps back off to the.
I was actually staring at the turkey. It looked amazing.
But yes, you have plates. You have mashed potatoes, gravy.
Mhm. So how are we doing the sleeping the arrangements, as it were? I'm assuming we need at least 2 individual rooms.
I was about to say we should probably bunk up as usual, but we're gonna need a spare room.
I only have
Hey.
6 gold.
I don't. I got this. If you like.
Wait, what?
I've never even seen that shade of red before.
Yeah,
So which-
I think I'm past
Hey,
red.
Frosa, which
I'm
one of us
entering
wants to try to
purple
explain it to her?
at this point.
And Remy, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, let's just
Well,
leave it at that.
Well, it's if Hazel here is going to need a room, that's at least 1 individual room. They said the rooms fit 2, so we'd need 2 more shared rooms. I don't know how we'd split that up if we were to do that.
Nye
mean,
might
for us
want
at
to
the
point. Nye might want to point out he doesn't technically sleep.
Froset and I have bunked before. It's not a big deal.
You just find me somewhere to sit in trance and I'm good.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, if you trance out in a bar, You might be missing a few things when you wake up. I
No,
think we
I'm
can.
I
not-
think he meant
I'm not
sitting in a
completely-
room.
I'm not completely out cold, but yeah, it's not really a public thing so much.
I
Right,
think we can
okay.
stretch for a room for everybody, or everyone to. I mean, okay.
Do we need individual rooms or not?
I mean, I can bunk with Nye or
Okay.
Yeah,
Whoever's
I'm cool
odd one
sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to find out. So we're gonna. I guess first, Seth, do you mind?
I don't mind.
Okay, cool.
So Hazel all of a sudden has a
Hazel, you get to have your own room. Congratulations. We're an odd number. Somebody was going to have an individual room anyway.
Okay.
The question is, how much advantage do you want to take of that room? But I leave that up to you.
Thanks.
Just let me know just let me know how much you need. I got this.
Pimp Daddy
Happy birthday.
Darvin.
Happy birthday.
I think her hair is blushing now.
Quite possibly, yes. I'm
Yeah, there is
pretty
a sort
sure
of an
my eartips are
auburn.
glowing.
There is a sort of an auburn tinge to her hair that wasn't there before.
You're practically radiant.
Yeah. It's not exactly a Halor-esque glow, but it's definitely a glow.
And I was just about to say, praise Paylor. Can you still walk in the sun while you're as bright as one? The answer to that question, I'm sure, is yes. Okay.
The turkey is well done. The rosé that you have is really nice. Not something you guys have tried, but eventually you just demolish this rather large
Yes.
bird.
Remy, I'm sorry. I know it's not ale, but they don't really do ale. And what they did do, well, you could probably smell it. So I was like,
It's a sign.
okay. So yeah, this is a new thing for me too. Nice, really nice, really nice.
I may have had a bit more drink than I was expecting.
You're not. You're supposed to drink it quite that quick.
When
I don't blame you.
when your meal is done and it looks like plates need clearing, Emil comes to speak to you all when we do a dessert, and I understand that Kezia has mentioned that she had a liqueur to recommend. The liqueur plus the desserts is 5 silvers per serving. And I wanted to know if you had made any decisions about your rooms.
Yes, we have. We will need one individual and 2 shared.
And will there be company in any of these rooms?
And I just look at Hazel.
I think everyone is.
Yes!
Very well. Do you have a preference, or should we surprise you?
I just point to the bar.
Oh,
Point to.
and it
That's
is.
yeah, with
It looks at the bar, looks at Hazel, looks back at the bar,
Yeah.
looks at Hazel.
The,
Well, she is definitely one of our young ladies. She said she was not working tonight, so that is of interest. As I said, 2 gold for a shared room, 17 silver for a single. We will be adding an additional 3 gold for the companionship, plus a bottle of wine for the evening, if that is acceptable to you all. That is per night. I am assuming that the companionship is for the one night. We will not carry that over the way we might the actual room. It is up to the individual.
Exactly. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Right, I will.
And
I will bring forth dessert. We will. We will settle up the bill
Mhm.
when you have finished your dessert. There is no sense in rushing these things.
Nope. Some things should not be rushed.
Looks at Hazel. Looks back at Kezia. Just shakes his head and steps up. When he comes back, kind of a it's kind of a pie without a top and sort of whitish creamy stuff in it. It smells sort of chocolate but not, and some sort of sharp sweet undernote.
Hmm.
Is white chocolate and raspberry tort.
Ooh.
And sets down little flutes of sort of a bright reddish liquid. It's a raspberry liqueur. It goes with the.
Oh. Hmm. That is amazing.
Salute, and he steps off and leaves you to your desserts. And Hazel's still.
Yeah, like
Not
Just
like
gone.
I hadn't intended it, but you know what? I just had to roll with it. This is great.
Of course, I wonder how many people it's occurred to that this is probably Hazel's first time. Oh my god, Darvin! Flitty's been sort of hovering around and nomfing and just going in Sylvan. I should stay away from the Healy lady's room tonight.
I'm just nodding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We can curl up with Frosa.
Okay. Nomfs a bit of Remy's dessert and then goes and curls up on Bertha's head. Boop.
God.
I can't believe we're doing this.
I'm going to assume that apart from the essentially the additional 3 silvers that go to Hazel mostly covers the wine. Apparently, the young lady is handled separately
Yeah, I got that.
because obviously you're not negotiable virtue is not had for 3 silvers. It is
Yep,
not.
and I'm deducting that
But
from my own personal staff.
yes, but if Darvin makes a point to ask, he will Kezia will tell him. I know seems probably a bit low, but for I say this with as much modesty as I can. I am somewhat in demand. Normally I go for 5 gold for the entire night, but I am charging her 2. She is sweet, but I cannot make a habit of.
Understood, and I'm not a word. If anyone asks, not that they would, but if anyone did, 5. And I actually deducted 3, so I'm gonna just slide that extra one in. Slide a hand check maybe or something. I don't know.
Nah, she's you're both good enough at what you're doing, although she does sort of slide an extra glass of the raspberry liqueur, either for yourself or for poor nervous sweet half elf.
And I'll kind of.
Tell her 2 hours. It gives her
Mhm.
time for everything to settle and for you to make your
Mhm.
arrangements.
Yes, thank you. So I will slide the second flute over to Hazel. 2 hours.
That's being consumed more slowly than the rest of them. The rest of the alcohol was downed alarmingly quickly.
See, she actually
Well.
tastes. She actually tastes this one.
Mhm.
Yes. This is amazing.
This whole place is amazing, and I'm really glad that we ended up here and not our usual. This has been an
You mean like the
experience.
place in Gray's Inn?
You guys
Oh
are never
God,
forgetting
I'd
that
almost
place.
forgotten that.
That one was awful.
Yeah.
I'd almost forgotten that.
I
Almost.
am so glad I was outside.
I'm giving the usual "what did I miss" look.
Froseth had no problem.
Yeah, that's because he's scaly.
Hazel.
You
Oh,
can't
it's
just
harder
ask
to
why
hit him.
someone's
It's harder to
scaled.
bite him.
I believe the correct term is scaled. At least. Even that's a little pushing it, I think. Sorry,
Yeah,
Froseth.
well, he's shiny and gorgeous, so just
And that I'm like,
That is new information.
Yeah, up. Okay.
congratulations, Ace.
What have I gotten myself into?
Oh my God. We are
Which
tonight, folks.
point the gnome behind the food bar just sort of sets a small. It's a tiny mug filled with the strongest smelling coffee you have ever smelled in your entire life. Clink. Puts it in front of
Like,
Hazel.
Eh,
Look. If she's working on her off day for this one's
Yep.
not gonna puke on her.
Nope.
Not
Thank you.
having it.
You're probably
Absolutely.
gonna want to remember this, Hazel.
Absolutely right. Hazel, drink that. And Hazel, restoration.
coffee and lesser restoration.
Thankfully, the lesser restoration also deals with the fact that once you have downed that, you actually start having heart palpitations.
That was actually the main reason I said to drink. I was like, if this is the coffee I think it is, yeah. Because you don't just.
Oh, thank Halo. Wow.
You don't. That's Turkish coffee, wasn't it?
Something
Or the local equivalent.
Something like that, but a little bit more oomph.
More.
More.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You don't down
sweet
that.
Halo.
Welcome back, Hazel. Breathe.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I'll
gonna-
try.
Okay.
The color's rising again.
I'm going to assume that you basically agree to meet downstairs for breakfast and go and settle into your respective rooms. The rooms are actually nicer than you've seen in a very long time. Actually remind Darwin a little bit of the rooms at his family's place, if a little smaller, because they've got the beds are largely cushion adorned, and there's gauzy sort of canopy curtains. So it's like the plush posh kind of stuff, but with a very different ethnic feel, as it were. It's you're obviously not in Baronsville anymore, but there is luxury here that you haven't seen in quite some time.
Yeah. There's a little pang of remembrance there, but because of the, like you said, the stark difference in culture notes, it quickly passes. But yeah.
Yeah,
So I just settle in and.
Yeah, one of the things that you'll note is there's a terrible lot of very intricate rug in just about all of the rooms upstairs. It just very intricate designs on each. They're clearly made here because you haven't really seen. You saw something like that in Fortinbros's throne room, but then Hazel settled in, probably pacing, and there's tap 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 tap,
Straight to door, open.
and there's Kezia. She's actually wearing a sort of an outer robe over top. I thought that perhaps a little bit more in the way of clothing, at least to start with, might make you a little more comfortable.
Hey, you?
Sit down is not to be frightened. What I think probably best to do, because I do not like to think that you are nervous, but I do think you are lovely. I thought perhaps I take care of your hair a little bit. I have tricks I can teach that keeps the foomp from happening, because I tell you a secret, my hair does the same thing.
Flash. Thank you.
As the evening continues on a slow seduction level with wine and hair care tips, and yeah, if Hazel is up for it, then Hazel definitely learns a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like fade to rug.
Fade
I don't think there's a tapestry.
Where's the noise?
fade to rumors.
Canopy, maybe?
Fade to rumors of silk.
Ooh, nice one.
Rumors of silk. I love that
I'm
phrase.
glad you hope that the rooms aren't too close by.
They're not. Emil kind of had a feeling where that was going. So, Hazel is late downstairs and wearing one of the clips from Kezia's dress in her hair like a barrette alongside the bow.
Not a word. Not a word. Not a word. I just look at Hazel and smile and go back to breakfast.
Yeah,
Remember you are very, very subtle.
How do you do that suddenly?
Rural subtle.
As subtle as Remy can do it, anyway.
Just trying.
In Lord's name, are you, Remy?
Breakfast is sort of flatbreads, jams that you've never actually even seen, and a pot of that coffee, which Darwin's probably going to have to teach them how to drink so they don't chunk.
Entire pot of it?
Well, there's 5 of you.
That's like death.
Hazel, don't drink it fast.
I felt it yesterday.
Okay, so you know. Yeah. Okay. Stronger than it looks.
Yeah, it's a gold total breakfast for 5, and now you have probably glowing in an entirely different way now, Hazel.
Yep.
Good morning.
It might bear some relation.
So, is Emil? Emil. Excuse me. Emil. Is he around?
He's clearly planning on retiring for the day, but can I help you?
We have. I believe Emmy said was it not the nest?
Yes,
But-
the nest is, if you are looking for gubernatorial building, is the nest.
Well, it was the brass arrows specifically. Would we go into the nest first, or would we go somewhere else before?
Well, that would entirely depend. Have you been recommended for the arrows, or are you just...
Yes.
In which case, no, you do want to go to the nest. You see, there are two types of people who come hoping to join the Brassers. There are
Yes.
ones that have a letter of recommendation and they speak to they speak to Governor Bendis, and then there are the ones who come in all hopeful and wide-eyed and usually
Right.
very, very new, and they are sent to administration offices and they are made to face gauntlet of paperwork to see how serious they actually are about any of this. And mostly we hope that the stupid ones get bored with all the paperwork and they go and they do something else.
Understood. And good
Okay,
plan.
that's fair. That's fair.
Good plan. Very good plan. Thank you. My understand. Where's the nest from here? Was it
It points in the approximate direction. Yes,
general direction? Okay.
you'll have to cross the fletchings to get there.
Mhm.
But that should be no hardship. Is a little bit busier in the early mornings and in the later afternoons. Less so in the hottest part of day. We
Understood.
try not to go anywhere in the hotter parts of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Thank you very much. Don't believe we needed anything else. And yeah. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Breakfast is a gold total for the 5 of you
All right.
because it's fairly simple
Mm-hmm.
breakfast type of thing.
All right. So. All right. So yeah, I guess we go on to the nest because that was the plan.
On.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, let's go do that.
You all right, Hazel?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I bet.
And with that, I'm going to get up and we'll start the trek onto the nest, I suppose.
Yeah, as you're passing through various bits of the fletchings, market is quite obviously busier than you're used to. There's a lot of running around, a lot of messengers with parcels going from point A to point B, and you come very close to the God's Hall. That very tall building, and up at the top are bells as you're passing by. What seems like a very specific tune starts to ring, and a whole bunch of green and brown clad people, not looking entirely dissimilar from Hazel, beyond the fact that their clothes are silks and linens, and they tend to be of the the complexions differ, but there tends to be a little bit more in the way of the dark in this area. But a whole bunch of them are sort of flocking in. All of them are carrying baskets of appear to be flowers, various different kinds of fruits and vegetables, and that kind of thing.
Just staying out of the way till everybody goes
Religion
by.
check from Hazel and Remy.
I'm just looking really confused.
17.
15.
Yeah, both of you know that's a call to prayer for worshippers of Baori. She's their nature and harvest goddess.
I'm just looking confused. Just okay.
That's
That's
Barry.
the thing. I'm sorry. What?
That's for Barry. One of the gods.
Well, obviously, I'm trying to see if I can. I'm trying to place which one. That's not one of the. That's not one of the artsy ones. I know that much. Which one is that? I can't remember.
Harvest.
Oh, the nature ones. Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sort of little cross territory with Paylor with the whole harvest nature farms thing. But
Oh.
Very small human child pads up, obviously, but behind all the others, obviously very late. Smiles at at Hazel, hands her what I think only Remy would actually recognize as a pomegranate. Smiles, gives her a little bow, and runs into the place, and the door shut behind her.
what the?
What is that?
Really? It's like a giant strawberry except redder.
And wrong texture.
And you would know from Redder.
Hmm.
God!
We
Now,
just got her to
the
calm
color
down.
of the pomegranate.
We just got her to calm down.
And
Anyway.
Remy's not helping them at all with what this fruit is.
Do
Relax.
you eat this?
It's
And
a
if so,
pomegranate.
how?
Do I eat?
No, I'm sorry. It's a what now?
Pomegranate.
Okay.
It's a what now?
Pomegranate.
And Flitty is sort of going, is she just saying the same name that you obviously don't understand over and over again? This is Draconic, so it's mostly Froseth. Is she just saying the same word over and over again? Like she thinks if you say it, she says it slow enough and loud enough, you'll understand?
I know who I'm asking.
Well, that's what it's called, but what is it?
Into the bag of holding. I am saving this for later.
Where you at? Okay. I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to ask who you're asking. That's on you.
The mood entirely changes when you get into the district known as the Quiver. There is now more of a smell of actual beer in the air. This is more of a Remy kind of a place. In all fairness, it's the shops you see are largely just basic supplies, but there aren't all that many. Mostly it's basically the medieval equivalent of an apart hotel. It's like place you can rent a room for a few weeks to dump your stuff in, with a tavern downstairs to get yourself fed. Long-term accommodations that can double as a home for the nomadic creature bounty hunter. As you head towards the building known as the Nest, you do see a building that appears to be the Brass Arrow's main office, and there's a group of adventurers about your age, shiny new weapons, shiny new armor, sitting on a bench outside looking at what appears to be just armloads of paperwork.
Wow.
Please do something else. Please do something else. Please do something else. Please do something else. You will regret it if you don't.
As you get to the gates, and there's a couple of guards, probably human. Hard to tell because full on helms with. It's not so much a full on faceplate. It's more of a mask, so you can only kind of see the eyes. Obviously they're having to balance. Having to balance protection with it's fucking hot out here. It's already starting to warm up. Stage business.
We do have a letter of recommendation.
I pulled out the letter and I'm just sort of holding it up for them to see.
Take it to.
Darvin Taylor.
Yes.
Hazel Harthart. Remy
Yes.
Crestwind, Froseth, and Nye Vanamar. the Cupcake
Correct.
Coterie.
Correct. Yes.
Come in, ladies and gentlemen, you were expected. Which is funny because that letter does not name you.
Well,
I'm just
that was how we got
handing.
here.
If I can get the letter back, I'm waving it in front of Darvin's face.
Grabbing it back.
No, I was like, no, not it. It doesn't say us. It.
I know. We didn't need it, but it was good to have it in case we did.
Oh boy.
The guard sort of turns around.
Fold.
Actually, you needed both. We knew you'd have a letter. It's the only reason that we're actually letting you in.
Oh. Thank you.
There is another one of the more basic elevators. Obviously, because you're going up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the top, that's where that comes in.
Ah.
Basically, you're in... looks more like an actual throne room, sort of. I mean, first of all, it's an indoor room, so it's not right at the top, although you can see off in a corner what appears to be a... Actually, no. Make me an investigation check.
All right.
Everyone?
Everyone, if you're
Yep.
looking around.
Yeah.
11.
Ah. Well, okay then. Core.
Remy's blind.
Remy only has eyes for the gilded claw seat at the center of this room because she strongly suspects that that's actually a preserved and gilded creature paw.
That's fair.
22.
Damn.
Darvin is
Whoa.
the one who notices behind one of those. It's the same kinds of pillars with the mirrors, where
Mhm.
obviously Kreia talks to the others. Just behind that one out there is what appears to be a trapdoor. A very thin rope, which you can imagine probably brings a ladder up to the roof for when she wants to. You've seen Kreia Bendis before. She's the strongly built, amber-skinned woman with the with the braids, and she's lounging on this creature paw throne, the claws sort of arcing to more or less point at her head. There's no chairs. There's a scattering of rugs and cushions for guests, apparently. And she's like, I heard that you arrived last night. Take a seat. I understand that there are going to be things to ask, but I do hope that we have time for a conversation first.
Of course. And I
Bowing.
bow and
Seat.
yep, bowing and then arranging myself as best I can.
Yes, I did say that you should come to find me if you are having any sorts of difficulties, and I talked to Hial. Hial talked to me. Is a whole network of dragon gossip. We had Torin, is his little bard 18th cousin, 52 times removed or something like that. I do not know. Speaking to Hial, and Hial came to speak to me, and it seems that you are coming here to hunt things.
Yes.
Well, I imagine that you have had a light repast, so I expect conversation to take a little while, so when you are hungry, do let me know and I will ring for lunch. But for the time being, we will discuss what you seek, why you seek it, all manner of things about how you are and how you live, and then I will see what I can do about seeing that your needs are met. Which is where I leave it, because we are getting to about that time.
Yep.
And when a dragon like her gets started, it ain't gonna stop for a while. So I will see you all in 2 weeks' time, on Discord this time, since the changes to Skype mean that soon we're not going to have this layout anymore. So I'll keep on doing testing for the next couple of weeks to make sure I can actually record Discord conversations. But for now, I will see you all in 2 weeks' time when we will discuss life, the universe, and everything with Governor Creabendris, the ancient brass dragon.